Hey tennis fans, I'm Blair Henley and welcome to our Tennis Now Gear Guide. Today we're going to be reviewing Gamma's new RZR Bubba 117. Now, some of you might hear the name Bubba and immediately think of shrimp or your redneck cousin, but tennis players will harken back to Gamma's original RZR Bubba model. Thanks to its 137 square inch head size and 29 inch extended length, that racket took the phrase room for error to the extreme. The Bubba 117 is a toned-down, streamlined Bubba model made with aerodynamics in mind. It's a great choice for players who want the forgiveness and comfort of a larger sweet spot, but also may need more control and maneuverability than the original version was able to provide. The racket weighs in at just 9.3 ounces strung and has unusually narrow beams for a power racket, which will help produce the feel that's often lacking in frames of this head size. Like many lightweight rackets, it runs about 7 points head heavy, but don't let the term head heavy scare you. Get this frame in your hand and you'll find that it's extremely maneuverable, even with an extra 1/4 inch tacked on to the length. This is going to be a racket that generally suits players with more compact strokes, but the open 16 by 19 string pattern leaves room for someone like myself with longer, loopier strokes. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised with the Bubba's comfort level and lack of vibration on contact. That said, my everyday frame is a much different type of racket, so I enlisted my friend Bob Armstrong, who recently decided to switch to the Bubba from his similarly sized Babolat Drive Z118. Bob, thanks so much for joining us today for our Gamma RZR Bubba 117 review. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, well, I know we've talked a little bit. You split your time about 50% between singles and doubles. You've been hitting with this racket for a few weeks now. What are your overall impressions?
Well, my very first impression was that I really liked the feel of it. The grip is excellent. The maneuverability is probably as good as I've ever played with.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the maneuverability. I was going to ask you about that. Perfect segue. I've hit with it myself. It's a lot more maneuverable than it looks. Has that helped you, do you think, as far as maybe accelerating a little more on your ground strokes and on your serve?
It definitely, the maneuverability is a definite plus in every way.
Yeah, and it allows you to accelerate, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yes.
what it did. That's what it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
How about the spin production?
I like, and I use quite a bit of spin.
Okay.
On my backhand, I really like the ability to produce the spin that it does.
Great.
It's very.
Are you hitting more slice or topspin?
I hit more slice.
Okay. Yeah.
Many years ago, I was a ping pong player.
Okay.
So my game has more or less started out with the old table tennis thing, and then I moved into the bigger things.
Fantastic. Well, with a racket, with any oversized racket, you're going to have a lot of power. Tell me, the question is always, can you control that power? Is it power you can use to your advantage?
The control is outstanding.
Great.
And I noted that along with some of the other things, the maneuverability that we discussed. But I really, really liked that part.
Great. And you mentioned the feel as well. There are a lot of people, and we've talked, you don't have any outstanding elbow issues or shoulder issues, but it's a big factor when you're looking for a racket. How did you feel comfort-wise?
Well, I'm very comfortable because years ago I had a tennis elbow operation.
Okay.
So I have had problems along that line. This racket, to me, demonstrated not any problems of any kind.
Great. What is your favorite shot to hit with the Bubba?
Using the old analogy that I was a ping pong player, I still like the backhand slice.
Okay.
is what I use.
Nice.
I mean, when I can get to it. That's the other thing I did like, is the length of the racket enables me
bit longer.
to get to some things that I might not do, since I can't move quite as quickly as I used to. So.
Perfect. And was there any shot that you maybe felt, I would have liked to see a little more here or there?
No, it just plays. It's just a smooth playing racket.
Solid racket.
And it's very good. And I do like also, when I first picked it up, was the grip. The grip was very good, so I like that.
Good, just the feel of that grip on there?
Yeah, the feel of the grip. And since I have a little bit of arthritis in my hand, it feels very, very good.
Fantastic. Well, Bob, we really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for joining us for our Bubba 117 review. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and we'll see you next time here on Tennis Now.